Hey guys, it's Siobhan Muir. I know it's been a long time, but it is November, right? And in November, there's this thing called NaNoWriMo, which stands for National Novel Writing Month. And because of that, I spend a lot of time sitting my butt at my computer and just typing like crazy. And because, that's what November is. It's also the time where the people in the United States tend to celebrate Thanksgiving. So I thought that what would be a good recipe to do this time is to make what we call homemade pumpkin pie, or as we wrote on our recipe card, pie pumpkin pie. I know. It doesn't make any sense until you realize that, can you get the other one? It's out in the garage.
Yeah.
Until you realize that there are these things called pie pumpkins, or other people call them sugar pumpkins. And what you do is you take these things and you have to this is real pumpkin pie. A lot of people say, well, I make pumpkin pie from the Libby cans at the grocery store. The thing about the Libby cans is, well, it's not real pumpkin. It's actually just a different kind of squash that they colored orange. But do you see? It even says it right here. It says pie pumpkin right there. So that said is that you take one of these pie pumpkins. That's why it says pie pumpkin pie. You take one of these pie pumpkins and you break off the stem, and then you cut it this way. Cut it right in half this direction, and then you bake it for an hour and a half. That's what you do. You cut it in half. You have to scoop out the guts. Don't forget to do that. Scoop out the guts, and like you were doing a regular pumpkin for Halloween. And then you bake it for an hour and a half, and then you let it cool. And then all that's left is kind of the outer rind. And then you scoop out the insides, and you put it in a food processor, and you make pumpkin. Because this is real pumpkin. We had 2 pie pumpkins. That was the other one. And you beat it up until it's smooth. And I will have the mural at number 1 drain it, because there's some water in it, because it is a squash.
I'll be there in a minute.
She'll be there in a minute. And and so you beat the living daylights out of this until it's mush and smooth, and then you will add it to your recipe. But like most things, when you do them from scratch, you have to do a lot of prep work to begin with. And like I said, bake the pumpkin, because it takes an hour and a half just to bake it. Then you smush it up and you got it good. But she's going to drain the liquid out of it.
Yep.
Because when you make this pie, you don't want it to be watery. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. So I'm going to set this over here. All right. So you can see the water already. She's all like that. So then what you need to do to start this thing off is you actually have to have a crust, right? You can't have pumpkin pie without a crust. You got to have a crust. So I'm going to teach you how to make a crust. It's really simple, like really simple. There are a lot of the people that have very specific ways of making a crust. Mine, you need salted butter and flour. That's it. That's all you need. Okay. So you need this recipe is usually for an apple pie. It's the same crust you use for a pumpkin pie. The only difference is you don't put a top crust, right? So, and the recipe I have for the pie pumpkin does make 2 pies. So, one recipe for a crust that would be for the top and bottom of a pie, you now can do for 2 different pies. All right. I'm not sure what she's doing over there. She's beating the pumpkin again.
Bad pumpkin.
Bad pumpkin.
You're
Anyway, so what do you do to make your crust? You have 2 sticks or 1 full cup of, no, I'm sorry. Did I do this? Yeah, 2 sticks or 1 full cup of butter and 2 cups of flour. Sorry, my brain was going off. Okay, so what I need to do is never add more directions. So you basically need a cup of butter and 2 cups of flour. That's it. So she's going to add that. And then we're going to stir it all up to make a dough. Once you do that, then you roll out the dough, of course, and you put it in your pie plate. And I'm trying to think of which pie plates we want to use.
You want to use the cherry ones?
We can use the cherry ones.
I might be telling that solution.
I was thinking also,
No.
apparently the murrelet isn't tall enough. I am.
Oh, good. Because I'm not. I might be. I'll put these back.
No, but there, actually, there's another pie plate I want to use too.
Okay.
So we have this, we were given these pie plates, and it's pretty big. This is a really big one. So you'd need kind of a smaller one to do after that. Can you see the other one? No. Huh.
You need me to get it?
Yes.
I don't, yeah.
You're taller than I am.
Mr. SM is going to be voluntold to get the other pie plate. But this is a fairly large pie plate, as you can see. I believe it's about a 10-inch in this one. And it has a recipe to make cherry pie in it. I use this for all sorts of pies, so whether we use it for cherry or any other kind of pie. But
Where is it? Because
didn't we have two of these?
One broke.
Oh, one broke. Well, that's the reason why we only have one.
I don't remember.
Yeah, this is the other one.
Oh,
Ew. It's got stuff on it.
okay.
I
But
can't help that.
we're going to make two pies. When you use a pie plate like this, which is very large, that's when you will need to use a smaller pie plate. So we'll make two pies. One will be the large one, and then we'll have the smaller one. But you still only need the same measurements for... Oh, that fits right in there. The same measurements for the dough, for the pie crust. I know. My English is kind of fading at the moment. I've been sitting in a fantasy world. I've been sitting in a fantasy world writing about dragons and sorcerers and stuff like goddesses and things like that. So, it's like, oh, right, I got to come back to this world where, ordinary things happen, like making a pie crust. It's very exciting, Just stir this stuff up. Mix it all in. You can do this with your fingers. I don't like to. But you can do it with a mixer, a hand mixer. Again, in this situation, I don't like using a hand mixer for my my crust. I use a wooden spoon. And there is a trick to making that looks nice. There is a trick to making a crust. I learned it from my mom. It turns out, actually, and she learned it from my grandmother on my dad's side.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's just been passed down by moms.
It has. Well, moms tend to be the ones baking.
That's true.
Not always, but at least in my family, it has been the case. And of course, I like baking. Why? Because then you get goodies to eat at the end that are so delicious. And it's very creative. So if you're feeling like, I definitely need a creative outlet, I think I will bake. Because instant gratification.
Cooking.
Yeah, she does cooking. I don't like cooking.
I'm awful at baking, so.
Really? After all I've taught you? Listen to that sound. Like a cat.
I said, well.
What are you, Tai Lung over there?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is she Tai Lung where he bites his own tail?
Favorite scene of the entire movie.
Oh, I love that scene. That's great. You're just a big fat panda. No,
I'm not a big fat
the
panda.
big fat
I'm
panda.
the big fat panda.
Yeah, we quote movies all the time. Mr. SM used to play Trivial Pursuit with me, and he would beat me every time. I think I've won in all the years of our marriage. I think I've won maybe 5 times. I might have made it to 5.
Nada, so.
I've made it to 5, but when we played movie trivia, don't mess with me in movie trivia. I love movies and I remember them. today someone posted about, it'll control your Brian. And I said, is that a Monty Python film? Control of Brian. The original title is The Life of Brian, but whatever. Works well enough, fine. Okay, so once you mix the flour, and you want to make sure there's no white left, that it just looks like yellow dough.
Actually, it looks kind of like sand.
This is what it looks like when you mix the flour with the butter, right? Okay, so let's move these out of the way. And you will have to drain more water out of that. It's going to do that. It's going to seep.
I hate you, squash.
Squash. It seeps. It seeps.
Here we go again.
Squash, it seeps. It seeps. Oh, and you lost some. Remember this
Where'd you go for that for?
Do you know that there's a hole in the middle of the bowl for the...
Mm.
She knows now.
No, I knew. I was just like, what'd you go for that?
Okay. So what we're going to do is, when she's done fooling with the squash, she will show you what I do with that when I roll out a crust.
I really will get to control something.
She does get to control. All right. So, what do I need? You don't know?
Nope.
How about plastic wrap?
No.
What do you mean no?
Those products hate me.
Well, you could bring them too. She's afraid of the plastic wrap. She's not too bad with aluminum foil, but she's afraid of the plastic wrap. And parchment paper.
They
yes.
hate me.
What about wax paper? You have any issues with wax paper?
I have issues with pretty much all paper.
with all paper products?
Pretty much.
Do they give you paper cuts?
I think the only paper that actually agrees with me is lined paper.
Lined paper.
And you want it plastic.
Was that college rule?
Yeah, college roll and printer paper. Those are about the only two paper products that actually like me.
All right.
So.
Okay, and I will need a wet paper towel. So what you do, and she'll show you in a little bit, but what you do is you wet down your counter. Marble, Formica, Corian. That's what that is, isn't it? Corian.
So,
Wood, doesn't matter. Wet it down, and then what you do is you stick a piece of saran wrap, plastic wrap, whatever you want to call it, on the wet. Okay?
Flat.
She's very helpful.
Yep. Me.
Okay.
Our pumpkin is sad.
Why is your pumpkin sad?
Because it's weeping. It keeps getting water.
It's a weepy pumpkin. Is that what you're talking?
It's weepy.
Right. Okay. It's
Becomes
a smashing pumpkin.
It becomes a puddle. Like, remember Morph?
Oh yes, Morph from
Treasure Plant.
Treasure Planet. No. Yes.
Treasure Planet. I'm confiscating.
Okay.
Boy. It doesn't like you either.
Well, when the thing comes apart. So, why don't you set that to the side over here?
Okay.
And then show what I'm doing so they know what I'm doing.
She's putting plastic wrap on the counter.
Yeah, so she's...
I don't know how to switch it.
Oh, this one's different, I think. I think if you could do that. Maybe not.
Well, we're going to confiscate it.
Anyway.
Like this, and we're going to show you like that.
Yeah, you gotta hold on to it? All right. All right, so this is where we're going to use half of the dough. All right. Actually, with this one, I think I'm going to use a little more than half because we are doing a smaller pie on the other one. All right. So ideally, this is a ball. Pull my sleeves back up. But ideally, what you want is a ball, because eventually get back here.
It's trying very hard to escape.
It is. But,
Huh?
all right. So,
Don't know if y'all can hear the dogs.
let's hope not. All right, and then what you do, after you've done that, is you pull a second piece of plastic wrap and hope that the little blade works.
Often it doesn't.
Not always, but... And you don't want it to get squinched up because the idea here is to spread it out. If it cooperates, which plastic wrap is not always known to do. So, like that. All right. And you're going to use a fancy dancy or handy dandy rolling pin to essentially make your dough. Now, because this is so crumbly at the moment, I am going to...
It's trying to run away.
It is trying to run away. I'm going to roll it a little, press it down with my hands and then roll it this way, all right? Because what you're going to end up doing, this is a little dry, I think. My mom likes to freeze her dough, or rather, she likes to, she likes to chill her dough. But the last time last Thanksgiving, the last time we did that, her dough turned out like crap and I had to start from scratch.
That's not good.
No, say what you want about my dough and kind of the vagaries of this this crumbly stuff. But in the end, it ends up being better the way I do it. At least compared to hers. She was all like, how come your dough turned out so nice? Because I'm awesome. That's why.
It's starting to look really good.
It is. Eventually it does come together. The idea is just to keep spreading it out and rolling it together because the crumbs really do want to be together. They have this affinity for each other because of the butter. And the idea is to convince it that it's warmed up enough and it's soft enough that it will spread out and be a lovely crust instead of being obnoxious, which it sometimes is obnoxious too. Now, people will tell you, oh, you definitely want to chill it because then it sticks together better. Depends on the day.
Yeah, it really does.
And if it's a random Wednesday. Today is a random Friday. Actually, it's not so random.
Friday the 13th.
It's Friday the 13th.
Lucky day.
Which is a lucky day, no matter what they tell you. Although they did say it is Friday the 13th in 2020, which makes things a little more tricky.
Yeah, quite a bit more tricky. 2020 makes everything more tricky.
Yeah. 2020 itself is more tricky. This, of course, takes patience and effort sometimes. So if it seems like it's going on forever, it is.
There you go.
You are not wrong. You are not wrong. Let's see if I got this to do what I want it to.
I think I have to go get the pipe light now, so...
No, I'll get it. You just hold on to that and... Okay. Ooh. Okay, the other thing you want to do is you want to periodically lift the plastic because you want the dough to stay as dough rather than suddenly deciding that it wants to stick to the plastic. That's not fun.
Yeah. So we're doing the big pie first.
All right, we're going to do the big one first because I think this is large enough. I'm going to set it.
Oh, great. Okay.
All right. No, you're doing good.
No, my phone made noises. I was like, where's that noise coming from? Then I looked in my pocket and went, okay.
All right. Now, save your plastic. Why? Because you're going to use it again for the other pie crust.
And besides, it makes it easier so you don't have to fight the box again. Just to get another sheet. It's just
that's true too. You don't have to fight it.
Especially in my case, it's like the box and I don't get along.
All right. So this is where things can be a little fun. Now, my mom, what she'll do is she'll flip the whole thing over and peel the backside off. I don't always do that because I just want to get this stupid thing on the pie. If you've rolled it out well, though, you can slide it on its own. Do you see?
It's close. It's definitely close.
Right? Now, we'll fix this crust, so don't worry about how it looks. It doesn't have to be perfect at this juncture because you can always futz with it. All right? And then what you want to do, if you don't fold it over on itself, because that's not good, is you start peeling it off. Like this.
And if you're really good, the crust doesn't crack.
Ta-da! And again, save your plastic because you will use it again. Now, do you see all these extra bits that came off? Those are the kind of things you can start doing this whole, just stitch them together, all right? Because you're going to make a crust and it's all going to get flattened up or scrunched up along the edge anyway. So don't worry so much about that.
I have a sneeze coming.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You do not have a sneeze.
It already tried. So it's coming.
Okay, so you can go ahead and put that back down.
You may not see what she's doing, but you can see her. So that's good.
Right, and then the murrelet can sneeze.
When it comes back, it's just like, oh crap.
So, what you can do is you can take dough from other parts of the, nobody saw that, thank
You were
goodness.
saying?
You can take dough from the other parts of the excess that drooped over the side, and you can make your crust. Because you really don't need a ton, you just need enough to provide edging, right? I just wanted to make sure I wasn't losing anything here. And I am just kind of scrunching stuff together and making a crust.
Do you want to put patterns in the bottom before you put pumpkin in?
In the bottom?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I just thought it would be kind of fun.
Nah, nobody's going to see it.
Sure you will.
No, you won't.
When you eat it, sure.
No, you won't. Not even when you eat it. Nobody's going to see nothing.
Well, if you peel the pumpkin off, it'll be
Why
fun.
would you peel the pumpkin off? It's a
Eat
pumpkin.
Eat the pumpkin first. Eat the crust last.
What? No. Okay,
She
so
doesn't like my idea.
I don't like her idea.
That's rude.
So this is what yes, it is rude. This is what it looks like when you're finally done with that crust. Now, I am going to make the second crust because I kind of want to be done with crust making because it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm going to set this thing over here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do... Actually, kiddo, will you put this in the microwave for like
10 seconds?
10 seconds.
10 seconds it is?
Yep.
We're cheating.
Well, you can put it in the microwave for just a bit to heat it up because then it makes it stick together better. What? I need a wet paper towel too. So I don't know what happened to the other one.
This one. It's over here.
It's over here? Excellent. In between crusts, if you're making more than one pie, wet down your counter again. Okay? Like I said, it helps the plastic stick to it. Okay, so put this back down in here like this. Spread out all the corners because, you know, plastic wrap. All right. There we go. Which side is it on? Oh, that one. Okay. You want to make sure that you use the same sides because that'll help. Unless I dried out everything again, which I think I did. All right. Then, oh yes, a little bit better. A little bit stickier, which is good. That's the only good thing about doing it with your hands is that it becomes a lot stickier. Because you really want it to not be dust or sand or gravel. You want it to be kind of doughy.
This one's going to stick together a lot better, I think.
Yeah, it will. You're starting to get hungry? You? I can't imagine. Hungry? Her? Can't even imagine.
Yeah, the problem is we're on video and you're making a pie or two. And
So here's the dough, and here's so what it should really look like, right? But I had to smash it together with my hands. Some days I'm willing to do that. Other days I'm like, Nope, that's not happening. Okay, then you take your other piece of plastic and you put it back on top of this stuff. And you smoosh it down. And then you roll it out. Again.
New favorite word of the day, smushify it.
Smushify?
Yeah. So what she's doing is she's rolling out the next one, so I'm not really going to show you since you've already seen it.
Right, and it won't be as big as the first one I did because I am using a smaller pie plate. We're going to use this pie plate, which is one of the ones I got for my wedding. So I've had it for as long as I've been married. Yay! Yeah, I think yay. I like being
It hasn't
married.
broken yet. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's a really nice high quality. I think someone got it at an artsy fartsy fair. So it was homemade pottery. It's beautiful. But he very kindly got me a lovely pie plate, knowing that I do love pottery. I'm a big fan of pottery. I used to buy myself pottery all the time.
Yeah. But we kind of ran out of space.
I know.
We have to fix that.
Oh, like what? Breaking more of my pottery?
No, I'm trying. I'm not. I feel really bad about that little bowl.
Yeah, my mom gave me some fossil bowls made of what is it? Sea fossils, shells and stuff like that. And one of them cracked today.
It made me really upset. I was like, dang it, I broke something. I really tried to catch it.
They're slippery little buggers. All right, so this one
Yeah, I'd say it's good.
is pretty good. We're doing this fast and dirty, so. All right. This time, we do not need to keep this. But in case you screw up the second crust, hold on to it until the crust is in. Just a little word to the wise, right? Because otherwise you could end up, screwing up your crust, which is possible. Which is possible. Ooh, it's digging itself a hole. There it goes. See? Sometimes you screw up your crust and then you have to start over again. But I think we're going to save this one.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
I think it'll be okay.
We're going to have to fix some of the cracks, though.
Yeah, we will.
I think you might have rolled it out a little too thin.
No, I didn't roll it too thin. It's just sticky. Not as pretty, but there's plenty of extra dough.
Easily fixable.
To fix it, yeah.
So, can I crumple these up and put them in the trash bin?
I believe so, yes.
Cool.
All right, so not as pretty as the first one. Didn't come off the stuff as easily, but totally fixable. Again, the crust isn't as big of a deal because you're going to end up eating it it's going to be underneath the rest of your pie. You kind of want to, you can make the crust pretty because you have all this extra dough, but really it's not a big deal if it doesn't come out gorgeous. Because most people are going to be looking for the contents of the pie, not necessarily the outer rim. Pacific Rim. Another movie reference. But yes, I am fixing the pie so it'll look okay. And I'm making a pumpkin pie for family, so we're not trying to win any bake sales or, baking competitions. If I was doing something more like baking competitions, then I'd be a lot more particular about how the crust looks and whether it's all in one piece or not. But because no one's going to see the internal bits of the crust, I don't have to worry about it.
And if anything, you could probably smooth it out with your finger.
Right. I mean, again, it's not really that big of a deal if you're not going in a competition. If you're going in a competition, yeah, you have to worry about it a lot more than I am right now. But if you're just trying to make yourself and your family a pie, no, if anybody gives you any flack for your pie crust, tell them, don't eat it. You don't have to enjoy my dessert. Don't eat it. Please don't eat it. Oh my goodness. We wouldn't want you to enjoy the pie.
No, it's illegal.
I mean, yes, there is something to be said for presentation. You definitely want to make a little effort to make it look appetizing, right? But perfect? Not so much.
You know what we should also do for Thanksgiving?
Don't talk about that now. We're on live where people can hear you. And right now, it's not a big concern. I'm making a pie. Like I said, not the prettiest, but still a decent pie. Now, if you want to do this where you make your crust have this scalloped look, it's really easy. You use 2 fingers and either a thumb or another finger, right? And then you get this scalloped look.
And it makes the crust look nicer too.
And it does. It makes the crust look kind of artsy-fartsy and elegant, even if you screwed it up, okay? So you can hide a multitude of mistakes just by a little effort to...
Looks like
Ta-da! 2 fingers, or 3 fingers total. That's how you get that.
That looks like a flower.
Now, we'll probably have to do that with this pie as well.
Okay.
But what's this? Why is this here? Okay. All right. So, no, we're not going to put anything in it right now. Or you want me to do the...
Yeah, that's what I was asking you.
Sure, bring it over. So we'll try to fix the other pie in terms of its crust, making it look a little bigger than it was, right? And try to do that scallop look again. This one's a little more fragile. but it'll look pretty in the end. Again, you don't have to do anything too exciting. I'm just trying to give it a little extra